Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel if you haven't been here before. My name is Debbie and I read a lot of books. I'm currently reading the Jessie Hunt series by Blake Pierce. There are 24 books, I believe, in this. I did an overview when I first started reading them, and then I've done book 5 and I did book 10. And I admit, I've just started book 13, but I feel like I need to talk about it already. So I'm going to give you a catch-up on what's happened since. I think last time I spoke to you guys, a significant player had been killed off, and so I am going to talk about that and where we're at right now. So there was another profiler for the department that Jessie Hunt works for. Basically, he was on a freelance basis. His name is Garland Moses. And he was essentially a mentor, a bit of a father figure for Jessie, and in book 9 he was murdered by Jessie's ex-husband. Told you, spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. So Garland was murdered by her ex-husband, and she didn't realise the connection to her. Well, I think in a way she did, she just didn't realise it was him that was doing it, because that was the book where we found out that Kyle Voss, her ex-husband from the very beginning of the books, was being released from prison on a technicality, and he started messing with Jessie's life. He got people to hack her social media and put on horrible, racist, offensive posts on her social media, to which Jessie and the department just had to come out and just go, she's been hacked, there's not really much we can do at this point, we're just trying to find the origin of it. But a lot of people thought it really was Jessie. She kind of became infamous for it. There was a point over the last few books where when Jessie Hunt turns up to a crime scene and says, "My name is Jessie, I'm a profiler," they go, "Oh, you're that Jessie Hunt." Basically, Jessie, the only thing she has been able to do is try to use it to her advantage and go, well, you've got this preconceived notion of who you think I am, and I'm going to use that against you. So that's what she's been doing. But after the events of that book where Garland was killed, and Detective Ryan Hernandez, her partner throughout most of the books and now her romantic partner, he was stabbed in the chest. And now he's going through a massive rehabilitation. He was in a coma, and so now they're at a point when it looks like Ryan's getting ready to go back on the force. It hit everybody really hard, the death of Garland Moses. Jessie's sister Hannah had a kind of a mutual respect for him as well, and through the books as well, we've also seen Hannah come to terms with her life and what she's been experiencing, and the fact that she's noticed her lack of feelings. I'm not really sure where that's going to go, but I feel like it's going down dangerous territory, because Hannah has now realised that she's a bit of a thrill chaser. Basically, a lot of the time she feels like she doesn't feel any emotion, but when she puts herself in extreme situations, she can get that rush and those feelings through, and so she's kind of chasing that at the moment, which is putting her into very dangerous territory. It started off with her doing something for Kat Gentry. Kat was one of the guards at the hospital that Jessie visited when she was doing her masters, when she was doing her thesis and everything, but when she was training to become a profiler. Kat and Jessie are now like firm friends at this point. Yeah, Kat, after the events where Bolton Crutchfield, that was his name, after he escaped and others escaped, basically they fired all the security team and hired a brand new security team, because they thought if one person was able to be converted to help get them out, then we might as well just start from scratch. So everybody gets fired, and Kat has now become a private detective agency, which Hannah every so often helps out a little bit. And it was on a stakeout with Kat that Hannah was just like, I feel like I want to put myself in this situation. And there's Kat saying, don't get out of the car, if you see anything just take pictures. And that's when she's investigating a drugs thing where some parents are trying to find out if their teenager is buying drugs. And this is supposed to be just about this one kid, but obviously there's more to it. So Hannah disobeys orders, she gets out of the car, she puts herself into the situation, seeking that thrill. Kat does actually come back and kind of save her from the situation she put herself in, but it's obvious that Hannah's going to get worse. because at this point she's also put herself in harm's way in regards to a trafficking situation. The most recent one was trying to take down a paedophile, basically, and she's doing it all on her own terms, and it's getting to the point where it's just like Kat knows, but Jessie doesn't, and at some point Jessie is going to find out. We just don't know how yet. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all comes out, because Hannah she's just seeking that thrill just so that she can feel those emotions, and I don't want Hannah to be killed off. I think she's a very good character. I think it's very interesting to look at that point of view of a young woman who has been through so much trauma and is now trying to work through that, but at the same time she was also wondering if there's any identifiable features with the family that she comes from, because their shared father was a serial killer. And I mean, even Jessie goes through her moments of just thinking, did I get into this line of work because I have some of those tendencies from my father? Hannah is going through I feel like I have no emotions, am I a psychopath? And Hannah is genuinely questioning that, which makes me think that maybe because she is aware of it, that maybe she's safe. Maybe? I don't know. But yes, at this point, Ryan is recovering well after the incident that almost killed him, and he is being brought back to help and investigate. He's not completely ready to go back to work, but he's doing some paperwork side of things, scoping out investigations for the unit. It's homicide, and so it's a particular thing looking at serial killers and serial crimes. So Ryan's been asked to scope out those kind of things, and we can't just keep just happening on these kind of things. We need to be actively finding cases that are relevant to our department, and so Ryan's now being put on that. Because book 10 was the perfect disguise, book 11 was the perfect secret, book 12 is the perfect facade, and book 13 is the perfect impression, which is the one that I've just started. Within these past few books there have been some really interesting cases that they've been looking at. I really enjoyed one which was set kind of very much on the acting side of Hollywood, when a actress is murdered on set and you're trying to piece together what happened, how many people hate her, and it's a point where she's a bit known for being a bit of a diva, so a lot of people weren't actually that sorry she was dead. Was a lot of people involved? Was it just one person? It doesn't end like Murder on the Orient Express, but it did feel like that kind of investigation, with the point that the person who dies, there were so many people who didn't like them and wanted them dead. The last one we looked at, the last storyline, was a woman who was killed in a hotel while on her 40th birthday weekend for her friends, and that brought us back to kind of the beginning of the story, when one of the group in the birthday celebration was actually a neighbour to Jessie, when at the very beginning of the series, when she was married to Kyle, and so we got to revisit that friendship and what happened there, and that bit's kind of end on a nice note considering what those two characters went through together. But yeah, I just felt like I needed to give you a catch up based on everything that's happened with Jessie. Oh, what I didn't say is Jessie has now quit. She's still working with the department, but she's basically doing what Garland Moses did. She's working kind of independently, so she's not employed by the service. She's brought on as an expert for certain cases, which she gets to choose, and the main reason why she quit was because of Ryan and because of his rehabilitation, and she's just there going, no, I cannot put myself in this position where it was putting me in danger, it was putting my partner in danger, and now I've got a little sister to think about and she needs to be protected. And together they are now all living in Garland Moses' old house. Garland left his house to Jessie, but now we see who the next villain is. Because once Garland was dead, we then started getting chapters from the serial killer that Garland was hunting for years, who was thought to be dead, but now we realised that this guy isn't dead, and now that Garland is gone, he's ready to come back and wreak havoc. So it looks like Jessie is basically taking over Garland's role. Murders that he could never solve, and the murderer he could never find, and now that's on Jessie's shoulders. So I'm really looking forward to seeing where the rest of this goes. I'm really just enjoying this whole series. I'll admit, I think it happened when there's like a massive book series, like 24, 26, 30 books, whatever, where some of the editing side gets a little sloppy, and I think it's because they're churning them out so quickly. I've seen this happen with other books before. I've seen it a little bit in the Sophia Beaufont series, where you're just like, oh, there's some like quotation marks missing, oh, that didn't quite make sense, or they're using the wrong pronoun for this character. I remember there was a point when I was just like, oh, wait, haven't we already determined this character is a woman? Why are they calling her him? And then it's corrected, and it's just like, oh, okay, so that was a genuine mistake in the text. And I've just noticed little punctuation issues going through the books, and I think it's because they have been written and churned out very, very quickly. To be honest, I've seen it happen with influencer books. I say that loosely because I'm sure people might be able to figure out, based on the book reviews that I have done, whose books I'm talking about. And it was a YouTuber who I used to actually be really quite a fan of, but then something happened which just put her in a really, really bad light to me, and so I just can't bring myself to watch, or to be honest, I'm not sure if I'm ever going to read any more of her books, to be honest. But there was a YouTuber influencer that I read quite a few of her books, and I think it was because they were being churned out in like less than a year, and she was publicly saying how quickly they were being written and churned out, and it was just like, when it comes to a point when writers usually can spend years writing a book and then trying to get it published, when things are being churned out so quickly, there's so much stuff that gets missed. And this isn't a thing on Blake Pierce or any of the authors that this happens to, but I think they are so determined just to get the books out that proofreading is just, it's like skirted over. So I'm just there thinking, like, if I can see this as a reader, then surely an editor or a proofreader would have seen this if that part had been done. I'm loving it. I love the fact that it feels very Rizzolian Isles, the TV series. It's got the comedy, you've got the romance, and you've got that detective murder series at the forefront, plus that complete backstory for Jessie, which just puts that bit of a twist on it in regards to the fact that as a profiler for the police, looking for serial killers, and her personal experience with that, growing up with a father who murdered her mother. It's just, it's just so good. It's brilliant, and I'm just really, really enjoying this series. And now seeing the Night Hunter coming through, now that Garland has passed away, and the Night Hunter is who Garland was investigating. He was almost killed by this person, and we've just seen somebody being killed by this elderly gentleman, and it looks like Ryan is getting ready to take over that case of this woman who was killed, and they're just like, wait, this feels like something our department needs to be looking at. So it looks like that's where we're going next. We are going into Garland's history and letting Jessie investigate that now. But yeah. I just love these books. I am still reading Sophia Beaufont. I haven't got many books left of that. I have just started a book called If You Could See Me Now by Cecilia Ahern, which I could not figure out the premise of the book from the blurb, but now I've started it, I'm just like, oh, it's basically about a woman who looks after her nephew, and her nephew has a invisible friend. He has an invisible friend, and I'm about 100 pages in, but you realise that you're getting the point of view of the invisible friend, and it looks like the aunt is beginning to hear and see the invisible friend. It's very like magical realism, and I love it, but I'm really looking forward to seeing how that goes, because from the blurb it looks like at some point she will be able to properly see the invisible friend, and yeah, just seeing where that all goes is going to be so much fun. Jessie Hunt, psychological suspense thriller. You can see all these books there. It looks like I stopped reading here on book 7, but I'm reading them on my phone, so it's more obvious on my phone what I've read. But yeah, as you can see at book 10 we started to get a bit more colour, and we're just starting yeah, absolutely loving them. Absolutely loving them. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. I will do another catch up a few books down, and yeah, if you've got any book recommendations, pop them in the comments. Don't forget to like, chat to me, subscribe, put on the bell notifications. I am uploading 2 videos a week on a Wednesday, and then we have Series Sunday. And let me tell you, I have realised with Series Sunday, that means that I could possibly talk about television series, film series, not just book series. Yeah, so stay safe. Love you. See you next time. Bye.